I'm Paddy Watters, tech for Andy Sneap with Judas at the moment. I'm just going to have a talk through about some of his guitars that we're using on this leg of the tour. So first up, one that Andy acquired last year. It's a 4-digit Hamer standard in red. That standard we're in E-flat tuning on all the guitars that we've got out with us at the moment, 'cause all the songs on this set are E-flat. DiMarzio tone zone in the bridge. All the straps that we're using are made by a company called Richter, and we're also using their wireless packs, which are great, easy to get to the switch on the top of these Shaw units, the AD1s. And all our cables that we're using are made by Klotz cables. Great quality, never had an issue with them. So plug it in, don't have to worry about it. The next guitar we've got, it's a parts caster really. So I think it's a 79 neck, actually a left-handed neck that got a right-handed nut on. Then with the lumen lay down the side, because obviously the dots are on, they'll be underneath otherwise. We've currently got a Seymour Duncan JB Junior in the bridge, but that's getting swapped out any day soon for a DiMarzio Sugar Chakra that we're going to try, which I have in some of my guitars and I think they're fantastic, so Andy's going to give it a whirl. It's also got the Vega trem, which are great, really impressed with those trems. They stay in tune almost as good as a Floyd really, as long, don't give them too much hammer. Hip shot locking tuners. Just a really good solid Strat that seems to stay in tune and plays really great. He's a big fan of this one at the moment. Just a Gibson Explorer. Only real change on this one. Again, DiMarzio Super Distortion in the bridge. That's what we're using that as a backup at the moment, but doesn't mean to say it's not going to get used in the set at some point. And then onto his Jacksons. So this is his RR1 Rhodes that he's had a good few years now. I believe he bought this in Seattle when he was on tour a few years ago. Great guitar, solid. He uses this on pretty much the same songs, all in the set. Painkiller. This is his favourite one for Painkiller, especially. Super Distortion in the bridge again. Again, Klotz cables, Richter straps, etc. And then this is his main guitar. So this is what we'll use for pretty much half of the set. He starts with it first, like 5-6 songs. Use it again later in the set. Now, last year we got this one last year. So if anybody saw him out in Europe and America last year, this is the guitar that was blue in the centre. So it was like, like a blue burst. But now he's had it resprayed, so it's actually like a blue-black. So it changes with the light, which you might not be able to pick up there, but it is actually blue. It looks black at the moment. Again, Super Distortion, Floyd Rose. The logo as well if you see the pictures from last year, the logo was white. Turns out that this logo was actually underneath. So when they took that off, because it was originally spec'd with the pearl logo. So he's very happy with that. And then he's gone for satin on the back of the neck. Because again, last year, this was all like a gloss finish with a burst down the back. We ended up taking the finish off the back of the neck just because it was getting a bit sticky with the sweat and what have you. So yeah, he went for a satin finish this time. He's super happy with this guitar. It's definitely his favourite at the moment, and like the one that he plays most of the set with. We have another 4-digit Hamer, which has got quite an interesting backstory to it. Andy's been basically chasing this guitar. It used to belong to a friend of his, Kev Bauer, who's in the band Hell with Andy, and it's been all around the world and ended up back at Andy's last year. Which again, it's not all stock. It's been modified slightly because at one point it had a Kaler on, so it's had a new top put on. DiMarzio Super Distortion in the bridge. Again, always using the Richter straps and the packs. Klotz cables, as I've said on all the guitars. It's another good one that he's using for about two songs in this set, 2 or 3 songs. On the Hamers that we've got out on tour with us at the moment, both of them have got the St. Helens hardware, the bridges, which just fantastic. really amazed. I mean, the quality is excellent. The sound you get off them. We first put one on, not this black Hamer, but one of his other black Hamers. One with that was Alice Cooper in the States last year. And we put it on, and the difference in sound, just the acoustic sound, I was amazed. It was just sounded brighter, more resonant is I think the words I said. And I'm a big believer if the guitar sounds good acoustically, once that's amplified through the pickups, it's going to be a great sounding guitar. So then, and I know Andy had spoke to Gerhardt at St Helens Bridges. He'd been in touch with them about it, and so he decided then that he wants one for all his Hamers. I mean, I'm going to order some myself for some of my Gibson guitars that I've got at home. Just really impressed. Really, the best bridges I've tried by far. So we've also got one on the red Hamer as well, just to show you. And this one, a friend of ours called John Shuker, who's UK based, he'd actually needed to reposition the bridge as well on this one. So then again, you know, I understand he's a fan of them as well. I know Andy certainly is, I certainly am. And everybody who's heard the guitars, when I've passed them to them, here, check this out. Everybody's like, wow, what's that? Where do I get those from? So, I should imagine Gerhardt's going to be very busy selling these bridges because they're just top quality. And like I say, I'm going to order some different style, some of the wraparounds and things like that for some of my personal guitars. Because, if you're going to have a guitar, you want it to play the best, you've got to buy the best. And that's what I believe these are. When we first put the bridge on the Hamer out in the States, I think the first words I said to Andy, once we'd got the slots going, got it restrung, is that the guitar it sounded more alive. It seemed to bring out like different frequencies out of the guitar. Everything sounded clearer, like I said, more resonant. The guitar felt resonant. You could like feel the guitar vibrating more, which is what you want. And then the pickups obviously amplify all that. So I think they cut through in the mix better. It's definitely altered the sound. Before, I was never a big believer in a bridge changing the sound that much. I know if it's one made out of cheaper materials, it's not going to sound as good as one made out of good material. But even compared to like some of the stock and other brand bridges that are really good, same kind of price range, these just to me just sound better. They just make the guitar feel better, sound better, and it sounds better in the mix. The tuning stability as well. Since putting these bridges on, I don't know how he's done it, but it just seems to make everything, the tuning stay better, and yeah, just it's as though everything's just come together. I don't know how he's done it, but it works.